Senior Democrats, meanwhile, have sought to reach out to Mike Pence to urge him to consider invoking the 25th Amendment and force President Trump's removal from office. As Annalise Nielsen reports from Washington D.C, the Vice President is yet to respond or acknowledge the controversial call.
A non-scalable wall has been erected around the Capitol building in Washington, D.C, and that will stay up until after inauguration. But while the National Guard has made things calmer in the Capitol, it doesn't mean that the rage and fury over what happened here yesterday has died down. We're now seeing a concerted effort from the Democrats to enact the 25th Amendment, which would see Donald Trump removed from office as being unfit, even though there's just under 2 weeks to go until Inauguration Day. Some Republicans are coming out in support of this, but other senior Republicans are saying that the journey to inauguration needs to take its course and that transition of power should happen then. That doesn't mean Joe Biden hasn't been incredibly critical of Donald Trump over his handling of what happened yesterday and his role in encouraging his supporters to march on the Capitol.
They weren't protesters. Don't dare call them protesters. They were a riotous mob, insurrectionists, domestic terrorists. It's that basic, it's that simple.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer have both attempted to call Vice President Mike Pence to encourage him to enact the 25th Amendment. It would take the Vice President and a majority of members of Cabinet to agree and then request for the amendment to be enacted before it could happen. And then if there was any dispute, it would still have to go to the Congress. But we've heard that they've been left on hold when they've tried to call.
I joined the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment.
So I believe the president is dangerous and should not hold office one day longer. He may have only 13 days left as president, but yesterday demonstrated that each and every one of those days is a threat to democracy.
The Democrats have said if they're not successful in having the 25th Amendment enacted, that they will move to impeach President Donald Trump. But that's a lengthy process and unlikely to be achieved in the next 13 days. But if the last year has taught us anything, it's that even the most unlikely circumstances can come to pass. Annalise Nielsen, Sky News in Washington, D.C.